Hello friends, this is Vedic Astrology by Rani and I'm here to talk about for the horoscopes for the month of February 2022. First, I will talk about the general impact of these planets on the society as a whole and how we all get affected. And then I will be talking about each of your signs from Aries through Pisces. But before I get started, may I request that please subscribe and hit the like button and don't forget to leave your comments here below, not in my inbox. And please, I'm not ever able to check all of the messages because I get hundreds and thousands of messages. Anyways, so when we talk about February, I want to say that get ready for a very impactful and challenging month for most of us. And so it's going to be making people feel kind of helpless in reference to the government, making people feel agitated, like government is not listening to us in reference to many topics, and I will go in detail as we go along. Okay, now first of all, let's see where the planets are. We have a new moon on February 1st in the sign of Capricorn and nakshatra of Shravana, where Saturn is in combustion. It's demanding us to learn to listen to each other without prejudice. On February 4th, Mercury will turn direct. Yes, that's a good news. That means, you guys can work on your contracts, get your stuff done. If you need to make the major purchases, no restrictions. Now, this conjunction of Mercury will be with Pluto, a planet of power and transformation among many things. Now, on the same date of February 4th, Sun will conjunct with Saturn. This further makes people feel very unsatisfied with the governments around the world. Now, then around February 14 or 15, depending on where you're reading it, in India it could be 15th, and here it could be in USA, it could be 14. Now, Sun will move into Aquarius to join Jupiter. Then on February 16, there will be full moon in Leo. It will be aspected by Jupiter, which creates a big shift in the energy. Now, till February 27th, we will have Mars and Venus together, neck to neck. They will be something we call in astrology a planetary war. It will take place in the sign of Sagittarius. What is Sagittarius? It's one of the many things. Sagittarius is to find the truth. Public wants to find the truth, and they will. We'll talk more about that. Now, by April 2022, Neptune will be moving into the sign of Pisces. And in April, Jupiter and Neptune will conjunct at 29 degrees of Aquarius, indicating the process of spiritual awakening one day at a time. It's not going to happen in one day. Folks, so much has been happening already, and at a different level, it's going to continue to happen as we go along. You will notice that. So things are going to get tough and tough and tough, eventually making people realize to, hey, connect with spirituality, connect with divine. So between February and March, then, lot will be happening to take us to the process of spiritual awakening. And it's not going to be an easy process, like I said. We will have to go through some difficult transformations. And even if we don't want to, we don't have a choice, So now, coronavirus, before I continue. I have been saying in my many videos that yes, around February and March, corona will be under control. So here we go. Will it be or not? Let's see. March 16th, Rahu and Ketu will be changing signs into the axis of Aries and Libra. It will mark the beginning of process of this virus getting less and less impactful on our life. So if you want to say, is it gone from our life? You can say, but I wouldn't say that because there's a lingering. Rahu and Ketu have done its damage through virus. Now, we have to deal with that residual of that damage. So, in other words, yes, we have to continue to learn to live with it by applying the precautions. Then what are those precautions? I always say that. Those are wearing masks when you are with people indoors especially, and keeping your distance. Sanitize your hands. If the government is doing the lockdowns, it is for your betterment actually. That means people in that given country or state probably are not following those good practices. So government does not want to let it be spread and people dying left, right, and center, and then blame the government. So, folks, I know it's not good to have restrictions, nobody likes it. If we learn to apply them, the government does not have to come to this point where the lockdown have to happen. But hey, I can just say that to you guys, and I cannot make you do it. Anyways, now let's talk about further problem here. Well, that was a good news now. Coronavirus is on it's done. Except we now have to learn to live with the damage and the consequences. Okay, we will have a lot of solutions coming up. So now we have Kalsarpa Yoga. It will be until April when Rahu is in Taurus and Ketu is in Scorpio. And but I want you to understand that this yoga gets broken every now and then because moon jumps out of that containment because it moves every 2.5 days. Overall, there is a yoga, but when the moon jumps out, it's a little different energy and it gets little sometimes relief to certain signs. So then Rahu is the, let's say the Rahu is the head and Ketu is a tail. So what it means is that time has captured other planets. And therefore those planets feel the heat of containment and all the pressure of this yoga, making it a very challenging and tough time for all those people who have to face this yoga. Now, I'm not trying to scare you. Astrology is a science. It's the information that I want to share with you, that God has placed these planets so that we can feel their energies and therefore we can read the blueprints of those planets. It's no hocus pocus. Okay. Now, what is the one big thing that I can talk about? We have Venus and Mars for the next 3 months. So there is a threat of real wars. Is there? Ouch, yes. But I don't think USA or India will be involved in the actual war. So, but there will be constant threat. And it seems to me the way planets are, the actual war circumstances could be around the area of Ukraine. And eventually, Venus being the winner in this race of planetary war, it can be then avoided. Actually, the countries will be involved, and then eventually it will help us to get to the peaceful treaty. Yeah. So now these two planets, Venus and Mars, that is, have been in the sign of Sagittarius for about 2 weeks now, and together they are creating planetary war. Since that they are very close to they are within very close degrees. Therefore, please be careful not to jump into arguments with your loved ones wherever your Venus and Mars in your house will be placed. And I will talk about it for your each sign, how it impacts you. For now, briefly, I'm going to talk general stuff so that you know what to expect in our society. Now, it's going to be particularly difficult for few signs like Gemini, for example, will be difficult. Now, moving on to then, on February 23rd, together, these two planets will be moving into the sign of Capricorn. We all need to be particularly be careful on at least February 11 and 12 when this conjunction become very close, and this is one day. In India, it's different. It's here is different. So 11th is here, and I think India will be 12th. So 1 to 2 days, these ones, you need to be very careful not to pick up the argument with the people in your life. It will get very, very difficult. So please, if you are listening to this video, take advantage and try not to get into argument with the people in your life. Now, mid-February, Sun will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. However, after February 23rd, Sun will move and combust Jupiter, ouch, again in Aquarius. So we have a lot of combustion going on here. So it's not funny, but it's strange. Um, so therefore, wherever Jupiter is, it will not be able to give its benefit. Remember, Jupiter is a benefic planet. Wherever it sits in the aspects, it usually protect us from the significations of that house. But when it's combust, it's not going to be able to give us that good luck. So I will talk about each of the sign, how it impacts each of you. So now Saturn has been in Capricorn for about 1.5 years, and it will continue to be in that sign for about 1 year. Currently, Sun is there too, and it will be there until February, combusting Sun, which is in the sign of Capricorn. And we will talk about Capricorn people, how it impacts them. So that means majority of the planets are in bad shape, making it a big challenge for us earthlings in general. Because if the Capricorn is government and Sun is government too, so think what can happen. Now, Sun and Saturn will be combusted, and Saturn represents average person like public, masses. Sun and Capricorn, they like I said, they're authority figures, and like they are the head honcho, CEOs of the corporations, city mayors, corporations, and ultimately all the politicians and our prime minister or the president in USA. So I would say that public will be in the uproar, demanding freedom from the government regulations and rules and the lockdowns. But I think it won't be as bad as last year because Jupiter is not involved in this time. Now I am sensing that leaders around the world, especially in India or USA, will have to learn to deal with the heat, and they will be receiving from the public. They must learn to deal with that. In addition, I'm sensing that extreme weather patterns, especially in the northern hemisphere, may face things like thunderstorms, a lot of excessive amount of snowfalls, or extreme rainfalls, or extreme cold temperatures, and even natural disasters cannot be written off. Even earthquakes can be expected wherever there are fault lines are. So my advice is, I know in India people don't get into this kind of things, but please folks, have your emergency supplies ready, like flashlight, dry food that doesn't go bad, non-perishable, and some kind of a small generator, so that you're not sitting in the dark and the robbers are trying to rob you under these circumstances. So and a first aid, like a band-aid and the painkillers and that kind of things. Trust me, you can actually handle all the disasters if you are prepared to deal with them. Now let's talk about moon. Since Pal Sarpa Yoga is there, expect many people having lot of mood swings. You may want to have, I would suggest, have patience with those people, and you should develop your own patience and practice not to let your mood swings affect people around you, or else you will be dealing with a lot of messy circumstances, and that will be difficult to clean up, and once the damage is done. Let's talk about Saturn. It is very important to know that it is time to do meditation, and remember always to live with good code of ethics. Don't think of cheating people around you, because we are talking about Saturn, and I have said many times, and I'm going to say it again. Please do not haggle the prices with the low class workers, people who are daily wage earners, like rickshaw pullers and the auto rickshaw people, or vendors selling some food on the sidewalk in India. That annoys the shani. Please be fair with the people who are doing a lot of labor work. They don't need your donations. they need you to pay the fair value that is being asked. Then you will not have to deal with the wrath of Shani. Well, there are other things too, like just respecting your mother like figures or mothers and making sure you take care of them, or mother in law. Now, trust me when I say that Saturn represents our karma. So, if you do those karmas correctly, if we have been doing in the past, so at this time, then because it's combust, it's going to be time to do the payback. So, if you have been good, you don't have to worry about it. And if you are not have been good, then all this disaster, all these problems will get you in the very muddy and questionable and suffering situation. That's all for the general impact of planets for this month. Now I'm going to talk about for each of your sign. Let's talk about Aries. Now, this is a very challenging month for you guys. Please don't get temperamental. Big point to be made is to do not make any sudden changes or take sudden decisions about any aspect of your life. Otherwise, now you will have big regrets to follow in the future. If you're planning to have a short distance travel, just be aware that and be ready for the changes, and don't lose your temper if those sudden changes are in your face for your short distance travels. Saturn and Sun will be in your career house later in the month. So don't make decisions regarding your career either in a haste, and so be very careful, or else you will be sorry and will be hard to deal with the losses. Now, Ketu has been in your 8th house, which is giving you suddenness to many of your events and decisions, especially about your health or finances or investment. That what being Venus ruling your 2nd house, representing your finances. So take precautions regarding your finances. Don't go act in the haste about your financial situations or investments. Yes, your 9th house is affected. So be cautious not to pick arguments with your father or teachers alike. But on the positive side though, Mars have been throwing its direct aspect to your 3rd house. It gives you a good energy and the drive to put your hard work to benefit you. Now, let's talk about you, Taurus. Okay. Your ascendant lord and the lord of your 6th house of daily life and workplace is in combustion. Okay. And in the planetary war, they are going on with Venus and Mars, because this is your is affecting your spouse too. So try to avoid as much arguments as you can with your partner or your spouse, or else the permanent kind of damage can take place. Please be very careful how you communicate with your colleagues, that you may have clash or arguments with your bosses or colleagues at work. It may leave a bad impact on your career, especially after February 23rd. It's going to be moving, this planet will be moving into your 9th house, affecting your luck factor. So, which usually can protect us when we have problems going on. Jupiter is, it protects us when the things happen due to other planets, but then in the while it's not able to do at this time. So be very careful about if you want to make any changes in your real estate needs, like buying home or selling home or moving, anything to do with your real estate. Take a decision with your careful thoughtfulness, without jumping suddenly saying, okay, I'm going to sell, I'm going to buy. Don't do that, please. Moving on to the sign of Gemini. Expect sudden changes in your career. Shani and Sun is in your 8th house, so be careful about your overall health. Remedy for you is to recite or listen to Hanuman Chalisa. It will definitely help you at this time, and also you should remain physically active, do regular exercise, and this is the remedy for the Sun, is that you remain respectful to your father or father figure. Don't argue with him. It will help improve your vitality of your health. What is that? That means if you are sick, you have a ability to, your body has rather ability to fight and recover faster. So it's a very good remedy when to respect your father under these planetary conditions. However, now you enjoy the seventh house of marriage and business partners. There is a planetary war of Venus and Mars for which you need to be careful. Picking arguments with your spouse also, or with business partners even, and mostly also with the kids. Don't argue with your kids, and also investment of money and all kinds of finances matter. Be cautious. Don't overspend. Avoid spending too much money suddenly. Having said that, actually it's a good time to have a romantic relationship, however, for those who are not married. The good news is also that your ruler Mercury is going direct, like I said earlier on that date, early in the month, giving you energy to do a lot of things that are, and the projects that you have been holding on. During Mercury retrograde, like I have talked about it, which you can't, it's best not to sign big contracts, buy big items, things like that. Now we are ready to move on to the next sign of Cancer. All right, Cancer people, how and where you will spend money will be the theme and root cause of arguments in your home. Please be aware and stay calm. There will be expenses related to your home, like maybe you are moving to another home or you're thinking about it to buy another home, and be watchful. Don't be like suddenly make that decision. Now Venus, being the lord of your fourth house of home, will cause problems or problems at home. So take a chill pill, or it will drag into later part of the month if you don't stay cool. Mars is aspecting your first and the ninth house. It really gives you a good healing opportunities. If something has been bothering you in your health area, you will receive some opportunity to get healed. Try not to make any investments at this time because your 12th house is affected at this time. Mars and Venus are having planetary war in your 6th house of your daily life and workplace, and that's where you want to be very vigilant not to get drawn into nasty arguments with your colleagues or your bosses, or else it will become a long term headache for you. And that's it for Cancer. Moving on to Leo. So it's not such a bad month for Leo people. Yay, thank you, lucky stars. All right. Mars is giving excellent energies to your 8th house. So if you have been having problems in your health area, it can actually now help you get a boost for your health. Depending on what are you doing right now, and if you can get into, for example, a health fitness program, so you will see then the miracle of having a good healthy body. Now Mars being the lord of your 12th house, and its cause of rising expenses and cause of arguments with your spouse also are in the picture. So be careful in that area. Try to not keep your mouth shut when you talking to your spouse. If you're angry, no need to argue with your spouse, otherwise it's going to be a problem later. It's a big permanent damage. This war of planets is going to leave a permanent damage if you don't refrain from these instructions that I'm providing you. So basically, theme of this month for you is to be gentle with your kids. Try not to be too bossy with them, especially if they are older, because that's where the planetary war of Mars and Venus is happening in your 5th house of education, children, and romantic relationship. Those who are single, they need to watch their romantic relationships. That's it for Leo. Let's talk about Virgo. Theme of the most of this month for you is to be watchful of your relationships and your investments. Venus is the lord of your 9th house of luck and 2nd house of money. So you can make any changes in your investment before 23rd of February. Now, don't do it in haste now, okay? And use proper guidance from the professionals, because it all ninth house also represents advice. So if you're trying to receive advice, make sure that financial investments are looked upon properly with a proper professional person, not just any. Try not to be cheap when you're seeking guidance. A good professional expert is what you will need. Now, it can be a stressful month for you. Venus, being the lord of your second house of communications, indicates that you can be careful, and you need to be careful in what you say and how you say and who you say. Theme of this month for you is fourth house of activities. Your fourth house is your home life, and the planets of Mars and Venus will be in that affecting that area. So be watchful to not to argue and cause disturbances in your home life or with your mother. Arguments over money matters should be avoided also as much as possible, or else you will be extremely stressed out. So, your home life is the theme of the month, and when you seek professional guidance, be careful who you recruit. They should be properly qualified people. Now, that's it for Virgo. Let's move on to Libra. Theme of this month is anger. Don't intimidate people around you or make nasty comments to them, and or arguments over money with your bosses or partner or spouse, because second house Lord Mars is in planetary wars with your ascendant Lord Venus. Remedy for to avoid further stress in the following areas is that you do a lot of deep breathing exercises, meditations, and practice to remain tranquil and peaceful when in communication with people around you, and that will actually is the remedy. And Mars is also aspecting your daily life and routine, so be very careful not to raise your voice to the boss or colleagues, and be calm, or else later on it will keep lingering on to cause you headaches in your jobs. It will be a stressful month for you in the sense because it's your ascendant lord, being Venus, being in the planetary war with Mars in your third house. So be very careful in your relationships and with your siblings and how you talk, and you need to learn to talk with respect to others. Moving on to the next sign, Scorpio. Okay, this month's theme is and that for you is the fights between you and your partner or spouse. So take chill pill, really. Try not to raise your temperament with your spouse, or else there will be permanent damage and your relationship with the partner will be really bad. It can be with your business partner, same rule applied there. In addition, eat the right and healthy food so that you don't create a burden on your health by eating the wrong food or the junk food. So take precautions, or else come March you will see permanent damage to your health. Ouch, take me very seriously. Eat the right foods, give up the junk food, fried food. A lot of people don't understand why fried food is bad. It's not that fried food make you fat. Yeah, that is there. But actual damage from the fried food is because act of frying on high temperature cause cooking oils to go rancid, creating a chemistry which damages our bodies. So now you understand, if you didn't already. Avoid, especially people selling fried food in the restaurant. They keep reusing the same oil over and over, which really become bad chemistry in there and very harmful to us. Okay, to continue with this sign, with the combustor Jupiter is in your fourth house, and so it cannot offer you much protection. So you're on your own, especially after 23rd. It's going to be a serious issue in your domestic life, and home happiness and will be affected. All comes out of the place. It's going to be chaos if you're not careful. So your 12th house, which is how you spend your money, leading to some serious arguments. So try to avoid to talk about it, your how to spend money with your spouse or the business partner. It's best not to get angry about it. Try not to use that famous line that most spouses do. Hey, if you love me, then you should do that for me, and this will create bigger problems. You don't want to say that kind of line at this time. They're not in a mood to listen to you for this sign. So just take the chill pill and avoid heated arguments. Now your 8th house of illness is activated, which indicates that illnesses and controlling your anger can help incidents of stressful times. It can help you not to get all stressed out, and that way you can avoid the bigger health problems. Okay. Your ascendant lord Mars, along with your 6th lord of daily work routine, is in the planetary war with Venus, and it's also affecting your 5th house of expenses and 7th house of marriage. Let me remind you that you try not to hold the anger inside. Okay, that if you and then try to learn to diffuse it. When we hold anger inside, some signs are just will blast it out at a wrong time to the wrong people, and then create a big problems for themselves. So don't hold it, rather diffuse it out. Do deep breathing exercises, meditation. Train your mind not to get into argument. It's a very bad time for you, Scorpio, otherwise. So moving on to next sign, Sagittarius. Ketu has been in your 8th house for quite a while. While you must be noticing that sudden events are often happening in your life lately, there is a planetary wars now, like I have said, Mars and Venus, which is in your ascendant. You will be worried about your health and your finances and relationships, and sadly, you will not have too much drive to go after your goals because you may be feeling low in energy. Now, after 23rd, Jupiter will be combusted in your 3rd house. So, Jupiter may not be able to give you that that help rather to solve those issues. So, what with Jupiter being in combustion situation, you may not feel so lucky, but please have faith and wait for the support from Jupiter when it's the combustion is resolved. In the meantime, meditation will help you during this lazy time period. That's your biggest problem right now, is feeling lazy. That's what you need to worry about. Now, moving on to the sign of Capricorn. So the theme of this month, what is it? Now the theme of this month is for you is, please try not to get into depression due to the circumstances. Remember, this shall pass too. Okay. Saturn has been in your ascendant, making you feel like you have been working very hard in many areas of your life without much results, including at home or and while it is combust for many of us. So please don't even try to make any changes at this time. It will be it will be free soon from this combustion, and then you can work on your plans once Jupiter stop becoming combustion, because that's where the luck comes in. Okay, remember, it's your ascendant lord's lord, so it has to a lot to say in everything you do. What I meant is Saturn is the ascendant lord. So Venus, being the lord of your 10th house, is making you wonder, when will I get back to my career improvement going to happen. So then Venus is also lord of your 5th house of romantic relationships and children. that is not, and that there is not much improvement in these areas either. And Venus, once the Venus escape from this war, until then you have to hold tight, and when the Venus move on to the next sign, things will be better. Then, to add to your difficulties, there is a planetary war of Mars and Venus in your 12th house. All kinds of expenses like money, and let's see, it's all the highlight, even the emotions they need to be checked. You need to remain balanced in your emotions too. You may feel like in some ways things are not happening. You got to still take hold of yourself, meditate, deep breathing exercise. Now, lot of your expenses of 12th house is in conclusion, where Jupiter is also sitting in the second house of your finances in Aquarius, and Jupiter being in combust, it cannot offer any help. So, just wait for planets to have some relief. Aquarius, theme of this month is to manage your expenses, and I know you will be worried about that, and I'm sorry to tell you that you don't expect you need to take a lot of precautions. You need to be cautious in everything you do about your expenses. Having said that, you can improve your luck to some extent by staying on the right side of karma. Now, why I am saying this karma thing for Capricorn and Aquarius? Because their ascendant lord is Saturn. Saturn will be easy on you even when they are in combustion if you are on the right side of the karma. So be aware that you may not have peace at home during this time frame though. Having said that, please try to remain calm about the matters of home life, or else you will be sorry later. And because there is a planetary war between Mars and Venus in your 11th house, which is a house of financial gains and friendships, you may try to expand in these areas, but keep in mind that because Venus being in the planetary war will not give you very good results in these areas. Okay, and your 11th house and second house Lord Jupiter is also combust, while it will not offer you any help. Your ascendant Lord Saturn is also combust in your 12th house. So and now, because I know you will feel low in energy and you will feel very lazy, and those kind of themes will be very prevalent, but remember, this shall pass too. There is a hope at the end of there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So stay positive, don't worry too much, try to pick up your energy through various proper eating habits. Moving on to the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. Okay, theme of your month is that yes, you will be having energy crisis and you will feel depressed, and your ability to make decisions may be compromised. So refrain from doing anything impulsively until at least when the Jupiter is out of combustion, because after February 23rd, ascendant Lord, and your 10th Lord of career, Jupiter will be combust. Please be careful how you communicate with your children. Be gentle with them if you have any. Be very wise for even spending money, or you may regret that why you wasted your money on biggie things like buying a house, etc. It's just not ready. The energy is not potent to do that kind of expenses. Be careful when making financial decisions again or investments, because in addition your 11th house of gains and friends, there is a planetary war between Mars and Venus in those areas. Your on third house and fourth house will be very active at this time, and so you may be thinking of to relocate again at this time. Ketu have been in your 9th house of luck, and the guidance you may receive from so-called expert may actually not be correct. So I would say, even if you think the person is expert, take it with a grain of salt, because if you really need guidance, try to make sure that they really are properly licensed people and they have a good experience in giving you the guidance that you're looking for. and be careful if you want to use somebody's guidance. They may actually end up misguiding you. With that, I will end this video. I hope you like this video. I hope you will support me by subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and subscribe. Please do not leave me messages in my inbox. I never get to check the messages, so leave your comments here. Thank you so much, and God bless you. See you next time.